Good evening, and welcome to Having a Drink with Mink. I'm your host, Jason Mink. I was just perusing the old comic book price guide. That's right, it's Overstreet number 11 from 1980. And can you believe they want $600 for a mint copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 1? Wow, what are they smoking? But I was thrilled to pick this up at my local comic book shop. Say it with me now, folks. That's Ides Entertainment in downtown Pittsburgh. They had a big pile of these. I paid $1 for this. And you can't go wrong. You've got this remarkable LB Cole cover. So yeah, absolutely. I figured for $1, I would add this to the archive. But hey, enough of that. We've got so much to get to, so we're going to get right to it. Right off the bat, I received a package from Mike McCarthy. And within that package, Mike included this, along with a note, which I shall read to you now. It says, as promised, threatened, here's my 1997 movie, The Sore Losers, also on Amazon Prime. The plot, it's about juvenile delinquents who come to Memphis to kill hippies. It's got lots of comic book influences. Speaking of comics, Mike also included his self-published Elvis. That is right, number 1. And Mike is working on a new graphic novel featuring his own creation, Kid Anarchy. And he was nice enough to include this as well. This was a Fantagraphics publication. Thank you so very much, Mike. I can't wait to check that on out. I was looking at this earlier. And punks versus hippies, hot rod juvenile delinquents from outer space. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Thank you so very much, Mike. All right, next up, I got One Man for $20. And this, many of you may recognize. Who is it? Come on, tell me, you in the back. What? No. This is Hutch from Migos Starsky and Hutch line. Although if you said Ben from Salem's Lot, you wouldn't be far off either. I've been wanting this guy for a while. The prices have been going up, so happy to have him in the collection. I gave him this little gun. It's not quite like the guns that come with them. Hopefully I'll pick up a repro or something, but I figure he's got to have something to protect himself with. For all the good it's going to do him. All right, you came here for comics? I'm going to give you comics. Absolutely. We're going to begin with the American Air Forces. That is right. And if you're in an air war, you definitely want Bob Hope giving you support. That is right. He has scragged his fair share of crots, ladies and gentlemen, for sure. That's a pretty nifty book. I'm not really a big war comics fan, but I figure I couldn't pass it up. The cover alone hooked me. Then we have My Own Romance. Wait a minute. None of those people are me. Well, maybe this guy. Or her, if I'm lucky. But, yeah, promises us all new romance. Here is my heart. And, well, that's her waist, and that's her head, and well, I guess her heart's in there somewhere. He'll work it out. They got plenty of time, those kids. God bless them. And then I picked these up. These are British reprints of Marvel Comics, and I'm a big Morbius fan, and we're actually shooting this on Halloween. So happy Halloween to you, even though it's 6 days later. But I was thrilled to pick this up. It's pretty nifty. Here he is, zooming in for the kill. You better look out, Spidey. And here are the X-Men, slow to the party as always. Get with it, guys. And then, because I'm such a big Hank Pym fan, well, I couldn't pass this one up either. And there are some differences from the American version. Very, very striking, like this, quite a bit. Black and white interiors, also features Shang-Chi. And who else is in here? Something else. Larry? Thank you. All right, and then we have Marvel Comics Index. This is from 1979. This is, I believe, 7B, and this features Tales to Astonish. with Namor, the Submariner, the Incredible Hulk, and Giant Man. They give you a little representation of the cover. It's a publication date, the creators, and a synopsis as well. Always pick these up when I find them. Well on my way to a nice little collection. Okay, now getting to the comics proper. And oh yeah, baby, it's Archie's Girls, Betty and Veronica. And this is a truly iconic cover somehow. Don't have this one in the collection yet, but was super excited to add it for only $4.50. And then we have Archie's Pals and Gals. This is a later issue. A real nice copy, too. And Ronnie really likes Betty's new dress. I'm going to get a granny dress just like Betty's. Big Ethel says, me too. It conceals so much. She might actually want to consider one of those sheets with a hole in it. Probably go even further for her. You're going to lean into it. Well, don't lean into it. You know what I'm saying. And then we have our Archie's joke book, and this is very beaten up, but I wanted it just for a reading copy, because these 12 centers, well, they ain't making any more of them, that's for sure. And then here we have, get yourself a Cadet Bicycle Speedometer. It's approved by Rudolph. Actually, it doesn't say anything about Rudolph. This could just be some freak reindeer. So I don't know, do a little research before you buy one of those, maybe. And then, man, I picked this up for 30 cents. I have no idea why it was so cheap. I went through it. No one's gone through and drawn mustaches on Scarlet Witch or anything like that, so I guess I'm okay. 30 cents, what a deal. It's the conclusion to The Bride of Ultron. And this was a stellar story written by Jim Shooter with art by George Perez. What's next? Ooh, Black Diamond! It's a full 52-page magazine. No skimping! Take that, other Cowboy Comics publishers. They're calling you out. And, oh yeah, man, you just know that's a Charles Biro cover. Check out all that action. Holy hell. Biro manages to cram more action into some covers than other publishers do in an entire comic. And you can tell him I said that, too. Then we have Danger. It's the Black Dwarf. I don't know the first thing about this book, but hey, I figured I'd give it a shot for sure. And interestingly enough, no comics code. It's a super comic from 1964. Then here is a stripped Dick Tracy. And that's all right. I don't mind. I just wanted to read the story in case you were ever wondering what happened to Herbie. Well, he grew up and he became Oodles. Oodles, here's only evil. I was flipping through this and I was struck by this ad in the back. I mean, these are wild. Some great stuff there. Certainly looking forward to reading that. Then we have, ooh, it's Eerie. That's right, folks. It's so creepy. Why, it's another super comic. That is right. It is a super comic spectacular. Wow. Oh, man, check out this Jade Disbrow splash page. I'm not going to hold it up to you, but I'll have Larry pop it in. Oh, man. I had no idea. I paid $3 for this. And it looks like those are some pre-code reprints, so very excited to talk into those. Next up, oh, you just know it, you varmints! It's Gabby Hayes. I was really happy to pick this one up. I enjoyed the Gabby Hayes comic that I found a few months ago so much I told myself, be on the hunt for him. And once again, this is another stripped book. You could say, aw, well, that's a damn shame, Mink, but that's all right, because we got this fantastic back cover. Course some mad, some low-down sneaking coyote stole my bubblegum! That's right. So that is the kind of quality writing that you can expect from a Gabby Hayes comic book. So make sure you stay tuned for that for sure. And then here's Go-Go. Not Tower Comics Go-Go, but I think this is a Charlton comic called Go-Go, but I liked it because, well, I was interested in Miss Bunny Love here. Absolutely. That outfit, very, very sharp. And then we have Jaguar. And I flipped through this. It started to fall apart on me, so I stuck it back in the bag. But this looks pretty nifty. I want to check this out on a Comics for Breakfast because some real eye-opening stuff going on in here. And then, speaking of eye-opening, and speaking of Comics for Breakfast, it's one of the first characters that we featured on Comics for Breakfast. It's Jigsaw, the man of 1,000 parts. And I don't have this one yet. It's part of the Big Hero Adventure series from Harvey. So we'll check that on out. And then there's a nifty little ad featuring Batman. Holy hobby kits! Hey, I think that's Robin's line. He looks pretty put out by it, too. And then what do we have? Here's a couple Date with Judies. I don't really know a whole lot about these, but the price was right, so I figured I'd bring them on home. I'd report back to you, the consumer. And, hey, happy Daisy birthday to you. That's right, back in the days when a parent might get you a gun for your birthday, if you were good. How different things are now, huh, folks? And then it's Harold Teen. And I don't know the first thing about this book either, but I just like the cut of its jib. We got a little information. This one is Adele from 1948. And then we have Nick Fury and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And apparently these are reprints from back in the day, but it's always nice to have them. Oh, well, not this one. Got a little mixed up. Here's the later. This is Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Make a note of it, Dan. But this one is cool, and it features Barry Smith artwork. Some very early Barry Smith artwork. And then we have Laugh. Here's Ronnie making time with 5 fellows at once. But that's all right. I have it because it's the first appearance of the Dandy Damsels. And I'm all about those key issues, gosh knows. And then here's Ozark Ike by Ray Gatto. And another book that I'm not terribly familiar with, but I found it striking. It's that Little Abner sort of thing. Al Cap ripoff. And here's Ozark Ike and his gal. And boy, is she something, huh? Check out the stems on her. And here's a copy of Laugh. Reggie looking like a member of the association, about 3 years too late. But he's got an iron cross, so talk about your mixed messages. And then, I was real happy to pick this up. There's a real nice early issue of Pep. Lammy Pie, how's about you and me going steady? And Ronnie looks at her date book and says, I have Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays open. Ronnie, you do know your dad reads this comic, right? Jeez. And then, well, speaking of giving it away, y'all know that I'm a big fan. When it comes down to that eternal question, Veronica or Betty, well, my answer is always Midge, and this is why. I'm not even going to say a word. You just read this one for yourself. And then we have Sgt Barney Barker. Now, I've heard the term dish rag used for comic books before, but I never quite realized how applicable it could be. This thing feels, it's not brittle, it feels like cloth. The drape of it as you hold it in your hand is very unusual. I don't know if it's just been read a million times or what, but it's a very nifty book. I love that John Severn artwork. Very cool. And I only paid $1 for it. How can you go wrong? It was in the to-be-repaired pile, but me, well, I'm going to read it, and I'm just going to put it in the bag. And then, if you knew Susie like I knew Susie, well, you wouldn't know Susie at all. 'Cause I don't. I've never actually read a Susie comic, but it's part of the Archie Comics group, so I figure give it a shot. Why not? And then This Is War! Grim, thrilling, frontline action. And it's the Miracle on Massacre Hill. Not to be confused with the Massacre on Miracle Hill, which went a lot worse. But either way, these guys aren't having a good time. You know, probably get another shot. And then here's Tippy Teen #1. That's right. You know I love those Tower Teen comics. And they're very hard to come by. This one is pretty beaten up, but I was happy to add it to my collection because, well, how often do I see them? Very much never. And what do we have here? It's Tippy Teen and all the Teeners with Go-Go, Animal, Whoever Was Here, and Peggy. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I can forgive that, you know. I assume that, you know, you'd cut that out and put it in your wallet. That's who you identified with, you know, back in the day. For sure. Power, kids. But I was happy to add that to the collection. And then here we have Warfront. Oh, man. That's one hell of a cover. Hand-to-hand combat. Wait, they're in planes. This guy looks terrified. Why did I have to get in the red plane? They're so visible. And then we have Dynamite Joe, the Blast Crazy Marine, making his explosive debut, launching a bundle of dynamite into the trees via an arrow. I'd like to see Hawkeye do something that useful. And this is a Harvey thriller. And speaking of Harvey thrillers, we also have the Tiger Boy from Twilight. Absolutely, that is one trippy cover. And apparently, well, they had a surplus of purple ink over at Harvey, but it sure made the book stand out on the newsstand. Absolutely. And then wrapping things up, well, let's take a whiz. It's Whiz number 127, 52 big pages of exciting adventures, and looks pretty good first glance, but it's falling apart. It's got a big old rip across there. It's chipping down the sides like you wouldn't believe. This is going to be one of those books that I read once and just put away, but still happy to have it in the archives. Absolutely. Once again, I would like to thank Mike for sending this on up. It's Helvis, ladies and gentlemen. I read this while the battery was charging because it crapped out midway through. And I got a real kick out of this. A lot of fun. Really striking black and white artwork. If you have the opportunity, make it a point. Pick it up. You heard it here first, folks. I'm Jason Mink. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see you this Sunday for, Comics for Breakfast. That's what we do. Absolutely. Until the next time, cheers.